Hi, it's me, Rashid Ogunlaru, coach, speaker, and author, and this is a first Soul Trader podcast. Well, it's not the first Soul Trader podcast, but I'm doing something quite unusual because the things that are really unusual about today is that I'm wanting to play a little bit of audio, something that's really touched my heart. And in fact, that's kind of relevant because the subject of today's podcast is the business of the heart. And anyone who's in business, as far as I'm concerned, the heart is the most important business. So today's episode is about business of the heart. And I want to kind of start off by sharing with you a little bit of a story. And so I'm actually recording this slightly differently to normally, and I might share this on video as well, which is highly unusual for me, but I was so touched with something, I wanted to kind of play something. So I'm going to just play a little bit of a video. What I'm wanting to do here, and hopefully if you're listening to this on audio, you'll be able to hear this coming through. I want to tell you the story of three women. The first one of them is Lee, who's my retreat coordinator, who's amazing. Lee and Justin, a partner, they're both amazing people. They approached me once when I was, in fact, I was giving one of the very, very first talks ever of Soul Trader. They came along, they happened to be in London at the time, and they started chatting to me. And then a couple of years later, they approached me to run the first Soul Trader retreat in South Africa. We've not been able to actually geographically run that retreat in South Africa as yet. But then we ran our first Soul Trader retreats overseas in Portugal. But recently, Lee told me told me the story of two other ladies who were doing business from the heart. One was a lady called Nuran, who's doing this amazing work. She's feeding loads and loads of people. In fact, that's a clip I'm about to play. And another amazing lady called Debbie. And Debbie runs with her mum a social enterprise that provides a toy library and all sorts of inspiration for local communities, local children, and so on. So I'm going to play you a little bit of this film, which Lee helped put together and Debbie put together about this amazing lady Nuran and the work that she does. I'm just going to play you a little bit about it, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this thing about business from the heart and what it is that we can all learn, whatever the nature of our business is. So I'm going to play this for you right now.
Okay, we're busy making 500, 600 litre pots of vegetable curry.
Right. Good morning, everybody. I'm coming to you from Coronationville, Johannesburg, South Africa. My name is Debbie Cockrell. I run an organization along with my mom called Slovo Center of Excellence. Where I am at Nuran Gaines' house. And this is an amazing lady who runs a project and a feeding scheme. Nuran has been going for about 7 years. It's not new to her. She hasn't just started her incredible service to community. However, during this time, she has found that she's seen a massive increase in her numbers.
Well, Hunger Is No Religion started about 7 years ago. We started with a very, very small amount of people. That was about 150. And then it reached to 450, and we moved the whole project to my house. We started on about 350 people. Right now, we're standing on about 800 to 900 a day. Saturdays, we're doing approximately 1,500 a day. We try and cook wholesome meals. Like today, we're actually doing some samp and beans with fresh bread.
Hi, my name is Zubair Raoud. I started working here a few months, 2 to 3 months ago. I'm the youngest worker here. I'm 13 years old, and I really like working at the soup kitchen. We come early in the morning, we help cook, and in the afternoon we give out the food. It's a very nice experience because some of the people are really in need, and we feed that need.
This is what's happening right now at my place.
So I'm going to pause that there. so it's just an amazing example of what Neuron's doing. What Neuron's doing is that, feeding 100 people a day, over 1,000 people at the weekend, and with next to no resources, just on donations. And if you're interested in that program, that project, Hunger Is No Religion, if you look them up, and there's a GoFundMe page where you can support their work. But I was just so touched by the work of Neuron, and really just touched by the work of also Debbie and her own social enterprise, which is that link between providing a toy library, important place for kids to be able to learn and to connect, and also to be able to support and that bit of support for parents too. Incredible work. And I don't think that they knew they were local to each other, and they're now kind of helping each other. Debbie's doing some work to help, amazing work that Neuron's doing. And I just think it's amazing, those people, many, many people around the world too, are what I would call soul traders. There's just perhaps them or maybe a couple more people, but from their heart, they're doing work to empower and enable everybody else. And there's just so much we can all learn from that, isn't there? And it might be, okay, our business may not be a social enterprise and like their own businesses or a charitable business, but there is a way, and there's always an invitation for our business to be for the greater good. I have a saying, which is, by pure mathematics, giving is key to the world that you want to live in. Sure, if I take, then I just alone benefit, but if I give, then at least two people benefit. I'm just paraphrasing, it's not as articulate as if you look it up, but it's so important, isn't it? If I just take, then okay, I alone benefit, but if I give, then two people at least benefit, because there's me and there's somebody else who it is that I help. And so how is it that we're able to pause and reflect and look at our businesses and say, how is it that I'm able to run my business from the heart and with care? And I think what's really, really touches me about all three of these women, Lee, Neuron, and Debbie, is that the starting point is the service of others, helping other people on their life journey. And I think there's so much that so many of us entrepreneurs can learn from that. I think where often entrepreneurial interest is often self-interest. But how is it that we can be really looking at everybody's interest? They talk about community interest company, that we really do have that interest in community. So that's really what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to really invite you to think about, how is it that your business can really, really help people? First and foremost, are you doing your business from your heart? Is your heart in the business? Again, is that the core of the soul trader, putting your heart back into your business? So first of all, are you running a business that you love? And are you then running your business from love? Because it's one thing, another saying, it's one thing doing what you love for a living. It's another thing doing what you love with love. And that's invitation of life. That's invitation of the soul trader journey, that we do what we love for a living, what is our heart's calling, what our heart's passion is, what's in our heart's gifts, our own gifts. And then that we run that business from a position of love. So it's about loving ourselves, caring about ourselves, taking care of ourselves, but also really caring passionately about our customers, whatever the nature of your business. You might be running a jewelry business, you might be running a consultancy business, you might be running a trading business, you might be running a food business, you might be running any kind of business, a technology business, it doesn't matter. But is it that you just care about your profits, or is it that you care about really profiting people and for people to really, really benefit? So of course, the business needs to be sustainable. Of course, the business needs to make a living for you. Of course, that's really, really important. Of course, that's really important. And it gives such an opportunity for it to be rewarding for you. But for it to be truly rewarding, then other people need to benefit from it. So this is the invitation of business from the heart. And business from the heart also is about trusting your heart, trusting your instinct. The way that your business might need to be run, it might have a completely different shape. For me, very often, particularly when times I'm not sure about things, I'll just pause, I'll be still, and I'll listen to what's my heart telling me. My heart's not telling me anything, then I won't move left or right. I will just wait until that next moment where it feels right, and to let that guide me. And that will guide you in terms of the products that you produce, that will guide you in terms of the services, that will guide you in terms of the business decision. There's power of business from the heart. if I hadn't listened to my heart on this particular journey, I wouldn't have produced the products like The Gift of Inner Success. I want to produce gifts like products like Become You Are, my first talks. And if I hadn't done that, then the opportunity to write books, Soul Trader, wouldn't have happened. And SoulTrader.biz wouldn't have happened. These podcasts wouldn't have happened. For me, as somebody whose background is very much in creativity and music and particularly, I have this thing, 1 minute something doesn't exist, the next minute it does. 1 minute I'm just doing what I'm doing, and the next minute a quote comes along or a song comes along. So I just trust it. It's about trusting your heart, trusting your heart. And we live in very difficult times, challenging times. I'm recording this at the time of the COVID-19 pandemic. So how is it that you're able to operate from your heart? Maybe there's something that you can put on. Maybe you can reach out from your heart to talk to other people, other peers, to find out how it is that they're doing and how it is that you can work together. A lot of that's happening right now at the moment, isn't it? In, for example, the music industry in terms of the arts, which are being decimated, and music venues being closed down. Lots of people are artists, performers of all types haven't been able to perform. And all of a sudden there's a greater sense of community, of solidarity, of communion, of connection. And that's very powerful. What are the things that you could be doing? During this particular period of time, I've been running every Wednesday a compassion check-in event where people can just stop by, connect, and so on. And we've been running a number of mini Soul Trader retreats, myself, Lee and Justin, mini online retreat, taster retreats. And the donations from that have been going toward them building their sustainable human being retreat center. Just little bits, little bit by little, but little by little, it will be built. But what are the things that you can do? What are the things that you can do to help others and not just yourself? And how is it you can just genuinely trust your heart? It might be your heart just says, let me make this phone call. Let me just reach out to this person. Let me just call this person. Let me just put this thing on. And so for me, for example, at the beginning of the pandemic, I just knew that I needed to do something. So I put on the compassion check-in event. I had a chat with another coach, and we were talking about things for our own community as coaches, and with the coaching academy who I trained with, myself and Anne Skid, one of the trainers, and we were having this conversation. We've decided to put on a series of coaching conversations, a space where coaches could talk and share. We've run about 400 of people on every call. We've had about, on average, about 200 people per call, a space for them to talk about issues from mental health and wellbeing that affect coaches and their clients, and confidence, resilience issues that affect coaches and their clients, from that space of heart of what is it I can do. And actually, when we start from our heart, we realize that there's far more that we can do than we realize. There's so much power in our heart. Well, that saying is so true, that we're far more powerful than we realize, especially when we operate from our mind. The magic. I have another saying, which is sometimes all the tools, all the techniques, all the techniques will fail you, and all the technology will fail you. Then at last, you must trust your heart. Then at last, you must trust your heart. This is the invitation of the Soul Trader: to do business from the heart, to work from the heart, to connect with yourself from the heart. And the times, these tumultuous, changing times that we're in at the moment, are that opportunity for us to shift our business. So many things at the moment, people think that couldn't be done. Lots of environmental issues, or the amount of plane pollution, traffic pollution. Suddenly during lockdown and all of these kind of things, there's less traffic, there's less air flights and so on. Lots of these issues are suddenly tackled. Of course, we need to be very mindful about the people who are working in those industries and how it is that we're going to be able to shift our industries, just like the same thing about in terms of the power and so on that we produce. But we know, for example, that there's all these natural sources of wind power, solar power. There's so many things. These conversations have been going on for generations. The question is, do we have the courage and do we have the heart? I've been struck a lot recently by this saying, old adage saying, do you have the room in your heart? And that's a question for us, all of us individually. Can we find that room in our heart? And it's the same issue if we've been talking about issues like the tragic murder of George Floyd in the States, a murder after so many murders, police brutality and systemized often brutality to black men and people of color. There are so many cases of our ill treatment to each other as a species, between races, all races, different colours, different abilities, different abilities, and wherever you look. The question is, can we find the room in our heart to care and to be compassionate to one another? Can we find that room in our heart to appreciate that somebody else might be in pain, somebody else might be struggling, somebody else might be hurting? An invitation for us in business is that we can do something that doesn't just help us, but helps other people in whatever way that might well be. So if you're in an education business, yeah, how is it that we can generally help people to learn from the heart? It's the heart that must be the compass for the business. It's the heart that must be the engine room of how you run the business. It's the heart that must provide that real intelligence. It's the heart that must be the real connector. It's the heart that must do the marketing. From this place, your business will always be fulfilling. From this place, people will see that you're doing business from a place of heart, and they'll want to do business with you. They will feel that connection. So I just wanted to say that, and I just want to say thank you to all those people, all of those thousands of you, including many, many, many I'll never meet, who listen to this Soul Trader podcast. And if I put this up also as a video, we might see this one for the first time. I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, say a huge thank you to all of the Debbies, all of the Lees, all the neurons out there who care and who are running businesses from the bottom of their hearts to touch other people's hearts and to nourish them, mind, body, and spirit. How magical is that? It's just quite remarkable. So I just want to thank you. And I've been meeting so many of these entrepreneurs. I know so many of them, and many of these people, I'm just going to name you. You know who you are. Barbara, Alexandra, so many people. It's this stuff about business from the heart. And there are so many other people who are touching people's hearts. So to each and every one of you soul traders who lives life from the heart, who are connecting from this heart, on this heart journey of wherever it is that you're in training, whether it is that you're in building, wherever it is that you're in consultancy, whether it is you're in food industry, textiles, whatever it is that you are doing in arts and entertainment, I just want to applaud you. I just want to thank you for all it is that you do. I just want to continue to encourage you to do what you do. And please, like what's happening now between the Neuron and the Debbies and the Lees, that the more it is that we can connect, the more it is that we can share, the more it is that we can be supportive of one another, the more it is that we're all able to kind of flourish rather than perish. So I just want to thank you very, very much. Thank you so much for listening to these podcasts. Please, if you found them valuable, please do share them. Please encourage other people to get the benefit for themselves and their business, because this journey of running your own business can be taxing and challenging. So there are lowly moments, there are very low moments, that they can be isolating moments. And that's why I produced the Soul Trader resource. So I hope you enjoy these podcasts. There's a whole catalogue of these podcasts. There's also a free resources area on soul-trader.biz. For those of you wanting to coach yourself, there's for a small fee, there's a coach yourself program, because when I started in business, I had very little money. And so I wanted to produce just a video that people can use to coach themselves and go on that journey. And I think that's also important, that we're able to become resourceful in ourselves to be able to help us when the times when we have very little resources, and we can just do what it is that we can to help ourselves. So again, I just want to thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening from the bottom of my heart for me. And this one is dedicated to every single soul trader out there who I've met, no one ever meet. Keep doing your thing, sing your song. Take good care. Bye-bye. Lots of love from me, Reshi.